Okay, so this you called it the big beast, and then you said it's actually not that big for being a big beast, right? Because you said it could do so much more than you anticipate from a machine this size, right?
Yeah. So this is the Mona Lisa 8000. So this is actually our entry level printer.
Really? Okay.
In direct to fabric printing. So this one is using a pigment specialist pigment ink for textile. We have a printer and a dryer here, which is common setup. And actually this is a relatively compact format for the productivity that you have. This actually has 8 Epson print heads in it.
I think that's the reason why it's called 8
something, right? There's a 16 and a 32, and
I can't get why you get all these great names on the equipment, right?
There's even a 64,000,
really?
Which is huge.
Yeah,
So,
so the essential of this technology is basically, is that the pigment that is special, or is it the way that you do things?
It's the Epson. The core of all Epson's printers is the precision core Epson print head.
Yeah.
And that is what enables us to deliver such incredible image quality that you'll see across whatever application that you have from Epson, whether it's for photography, whether it's signage, whether it's textile, you'll see the same image quality coming out. And the core of that is the print head, the Epson print head.
So just for the layman and for me, because I'm so stupid. No, you don't have to say yes to that.
No.
No, I was just wondering, if you look at the printing on textile, what is the biggest challenge? I mean, one thing is that you say that it's a print head that have those capabilities, but is it how you cure? Is it how you make sure that it is still soft and touching, and what is the challenges?
Yeah, there are a lot of processes that interact with each other. So one is obviously we also make our own ink. It's called Epson Genesta ink. So it is especially designed to work together with our print head. But on top of that, you also have a chemical pre-treatment of the fabric to allow the...
So is that from the printing machine itself then? Or?
No, that's again is usually added to the fabric before printing.
Okay. And is that something that the fabric manufacturer does, or something that you have a machine doing as well?
It's something that we do in terms of the formulation.
Okay.
So we make our own formulations of this pre-treatment that again will assist with the adherence of the ink and the accuracy of the adherence of the ink, because you can have the best quality print head, etc. But if then the ink expands in an uncontrolled way,
doesn't really make sense, right?
You lose that.
Yeah.
So yes, it has got a lot of steps together, and then there are finishing steps as well that are required.
I'm a little curious, because when you see here at FESPA, you see actually quite a lot of competition in this area right now, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm interested in is, of course, your major KPIs from choosing Epson. That is one thing, right? The second thing I'm a little bit interested in is also, like, if we go and look at the market for fabrics and textile in general, I mean, is this industrial scale at now, or is it more still on a smaller volume kind of basis, or where do you see the market for these things?
This is industrial scale.
This is industrial scale, okay. Yeah. So this is like manufacturers of fabrics, they will choose this kind of equipment.
This is exactly. So fabric manufacturers who've been working in the market for a long time will be choosing the Mona Lisa range.
Okay, great.
This particular Mona Lisa, the Mona Lisa 8000, that does cross over.
Because it is not so big, and you said that you have like very big machines as well.
So if you're coming into the market, maybe using an internet business model to print fabric for home use, for instance, then you could consider starting a business with this. So it does cross over that area in a way that maybe the higher productivity, higher cost ones don't. They're more dedicated production machines.
And what about the competition? I mean, what is the major KPI for investing in an Epson? I mean, you know, there's competition in the market, so I mean, of course, I take you're well prepared when you have the good reasons for investing in your stuff. Right?
Yeah. There's the quality of the image that we produce.
Looks really consistent.
You know, so we will always focus on the quality and the reliability and the usability. Trying to make it easy to use. Reliable, so that you can have consistency over a period of time, and obviously the print quality that
Let's go and check the print engine as well, right? So
so here's Here's the printer half of it.
What's the step? Could have been fantastic in a live television show. Just fall all over your machine, right?
There you go. So this is the printer side of it.
Yeah.
So.
And is it water based or the curing or?
It is a water based ink.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
so there's just like heat.
It's a simple heat dryer. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you have some samples here as well.
Yeah.
And is it? I'm not so much into the textile, to be honest. I'm more from the commercial print side. But I was wondering, is it both cotton and synthetic materials you can print on?
You can print on anything.
Anything.
Material-wise, almost anything.
Almost anything. Okay, you had to make that disclaimer, right?
Almost anything.
Yeah.
There are 4 traditional types of ink, and we make all 4. So there's a pigment ink, a dispersed dye ink. You get a reactive dye ink and acid dye inks.
Okay, so that is the 4.
So and you can buy the printer with any of those 4 ink sets. Yeah.
It's funny because I don't consider myself a layman in the printing industry, but in this segment I know mostly Epson because I have had Epson printers in my home for so many years, right? So it is actually a pleasure to see how this works. So we have something else over here. Let's go.
Let's move on. So this is also in the textile area.
Yeah. Same kind of technology besides of course the applications are different with the fabrics or
so as I said, the core of everything is the Epson precision core printer head technology. This has exactly the same printer head technology in it. It has it prints with it prints with another type of aqueous pigment ink, actually.
Okay, so it's a different one. Okay.
And this one is designed to printing to cotton T-shirts.
But it looks cool, and you have, the vibrant colors, and when you feel it, it feels quite nice. It doesn't feel like a thick plastic layer. It feels like, it was not dry yet. Oh, sorry, I disturbed you.
And as you can see, you can print with white ink as well.
Yeah.
On this garment.
So what is the process? You print on this one and then you dry it in an external machine?
Yeah, you can either dry it in a drying tunnel, which we've got a small example of here.
Of course, yeah. So this is like for smaller shops where you need to have something,
Yeah, well, this can be used in a high production environment too.
Okay, so that is not limited just because it's a small machine.
Exactly, and what you do find actually with all of our production printers, what you do find is a lot of customers will buy multiple units and what we call print farm.
Okay, so you basically set them aside and then you can basically print a lot of equipment.
Which gives them a few opportunities or benefits over buying a very large, single, expensive printer.
Scalability.
You got scalability, the opportunity of redundancy, and
also for equipment and all those kind of things.
And also, if you have different substrates you're printing to or different inks that you want to print with, of course, it gives you that flexibility. So this is the F3000. We have 2 printers. We have a smaller one called the F2100. This is the F3000, which is a more industrial build, which you can see with the sort of metal chassis, bulk ink system, etc.
So Duncan, when we started this session here, we jumped directly into it. But maybe you should introduce yourself. What is your role? What do you do?
That's a good point.
Because are we just picking a random person here at Epson booth? Or,
This guy looks like he knows what he's talking about.
You're just a customer. You're just walking around selling the equipment.
No,
right?
my name's Duncan Ferguson, and I'm the vice president for commercial and industrial printing at Epson Europe.
So you know your shit.
I meant to.
Okay, then we have that was a disclaimer too, right? Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so the sale of this type of equipment, is that good business, and there's a big demand for this kind of equipment?
This has been one of the business areas that's had significant growth over the last few years. It was growing well anyway.
But there's a general tendency in all segments that short runs, personalization, even in textile and clothing, garment, basically in everything.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Epson is a huge company, but is this one of the focus areas, or this just happens to be the thing that you present here at FESPA, or?
This stand, the business I'm responsible for, which is commercial and industrial printing, is now one of the core focuses of Epson.
Okay.
And a lot of investment is going into this area.
And you also deliver print heads to third parties, right? To other OEMs,
Yeah, we started a business also delivering print heads to third parties, and the reason for that is that we were seeing this massive explosion of potential for ink inkjet printing.
Yeah, because inkjet is really, in all segments, really interesting to look at.
We had a great technology, but we just simply don't have all the resources to manage building printers for all these exciting applications. So.
Plus, while you say that, I was also thinking that as the demand for inkjet grows, at the same time you will also have you have to put more resources into R&D because the competition gets a little bit stronger. So that's good to spread it out on other people's money as well, right?
So it made sense from many angles. Yeah.
So what do you want to show us next?
Well, if we keep going this direction,
why not?
So again, it's another textile printing technology, but this is sublimation technology.
Okay, yeah.
And this is actually it prints to paper, so it's in concept it's very similar to the printers that we would have in the photography or the signage production area.
Yeah.
So in terms of design, you'll notice this is very similar to the one that we have in signage, because actually
more or less the same.
More or less the same printer.
Yeah.
Again, the same core technology inside with the print heads. And the process here is you're printing to die sublimation paper, and then you have to have some form of heat transfer
to the textile.
To the textile.
Yeah. When you use this kind of technology, is that something that is being substituted by some of the other technologies eventually, or is this still like a core product that people use?
No, they all have their position in the market.
Yeah.
So if you think about, again, I keep referring back to things that have happened over the last 2 or 3 years.
Please do.
But if you think about everyone was locked down, and what did you do for your exercise when you're locked down? There was an absolute boom in people cycling around Europe.
So cycling clothes was the new...
Cycling clothes. This is how you produce cycling clothes. If you go around the other side, we'll show you some samples from a customer of ours. But because you're printing to polyester, which this is a
and you don't want to heat it too much on polyester, right?
And this is the standard way of creating, the majority of sort of lycra clothing for cycling.
Yeah.
That's just an example.
So that is an example. So it is a little bit. I mean, of course, like with everything, it's the application that decides what kind of technology you use for it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The benefit of the sublimation technology, it's not only dedicated to textile. So these printers are designed predominantly with textile in mind, but actually they can also be used for gift and promotional printing.
Okay.
So you can print anything hard surface, as long as it's got a polyester coating that acts as a receptor for the ink. You can print to almost anything with this technology, or transfer to almost anything.
Yeah, because that is actually what happens, right?
Yeah.
So it is, but I mean, it's not the same as when you refer to like transfer print. That it's not exactly the same, right?
No.
Oh, it's different process and different technology, right?
Well, yes, there are various types of transfer printing.
Okay. See, I don't know nothing.
So this is
I'm in my learning mode
sublimation
right now,
transfer printing. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
And with this, I mean, you often talk about that when you do digital print, you always consider that it's more like a Gillette model. You sell the machines, and basically your business is on inks. Is that also like?
Nah, not in the production market.
Not in the production market.
No.
Okay. You make money on both parts, basically.
To be honest, what we try and do is to make the profit over the lifetime of the product, and what we try and do is
you basically see that as a longer
exactly. Yeah. So we don't try and cut it down, or we need to make money on the printer, or we need to make money on the ink, or we need to make money on the service. It's more how do we work together with our customers so that they make money and we make money out of the fact that they can make money.
It's actually one of the claims I had on some of the interviews and some of the articles I've been writing is that I think there's, at least also in the commercial space, and maybe what you refer to is what is already now happening with Epson, is that the relationship between a customer and an OEM is basically changing to become a very much longer term relationship where you build everything from upgradability to consistency to substrates, basically.
And we now want to take it one step further, which is really to see okay, how can we then work with our customers to extend the life of the printers that they have? So rather than how can we sell them another one? No, okay, let's think about how we can, introduce our technology and just keep transforming what they do.
Yeah.
With having the minimal impact on resources.
But I was also thinking that, I mean, if you look at printers like this look so, to me it looks so modular, right? Yeah. So I was thinking a machine, if the transport mechanism works fine, maybe you can just exchange the print heads, right? Yeah. I mean, so there's like a lot of ways how you could do things, right?
Yeah, and actually you would go back to the first product that we looked at, which was the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
So on some of our more production-oriented Mona Lisas, exactly that can happen. You can basically upgrade from an older print head to the new print head using the existing chassis.
Okay. And when you look at the reason why you should do that, is it because of better quality, better speed, or what is the reason for it? Or just because it's a tear down, or
it just reduces the amount of resources you're using.
Okay, so that's why. Okay.
It's an environmental angle is the key one.
When
and it could help on cost for the end user as well. If it's like anything, if you're reusing something, it usually is a lower cost than if you've got something new.
But it was because I thought you meant that sometimes if you have, like, let's say that you have a machine X, and you buy it because that is your need in the market right now, and then your market demand changed, and now you can just upgrade parts of it because your market is changing. That could be speed, or it could be better quality, or more colors, or whatever you want.
Yeah, and that's a good example is inks, and having the ability to flush out an ink set and then replace with a different ink set.
Yeah. Okay, so you can do that as well with the...
We have, so it's very common with the Mona Lisa, and this is the... Excuse me, I'm struggling a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay.
And this is...
I'm trying to keep myself back from coughing, so don't worry. As long as we're not in the COVID situation.
This is the Shore Color F10000H.
Yeah.
And H is a relatively new product which uses 6 colors rather than 4.
So you extend the gamut, basically.
And it's CMYK, and then there's an additional 2 optional colors, but there's actually 3 versions of 2 optional colors.
Oh, okay.
So you can start swapping them between.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. And one of those is specifically designed not for textile, but it's specifically designed for the hard substrate market.
Oh, okay.
So where we'll sell it with light cyan and light magenta rather than with the fluorescence. Fluorescence is very much focused on textile.
I'd take, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have a...
So that runs through sort of the textile area.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. But as you said, some of these machines can be used for more than textile as well, right?
Yeah. So that's why we have the sublimation leading in here, because that's sort of crossover area. Yeah. Here we move into traditional signage area.
Is that a market that you're strong in, or...?
Yes, we are. We've been in the signage market now for 14 years.
Okay.
We launched our first signage printer in 2008. But we've always had roll-to-roll printers. So this is the first UV flatbed from Epson. Again, launched during COVID period.
And when I look at it, I can see that you have the spot UV as part of it. Is that just like a standard thing, or is it UV?
Yes, it isn't standard. I mean, and as you can see, we have 10 color.
So basically,
system.
you can choose whatever.
Yeah. So we basically it's a relatively affordable product. As you can see, it's a smaller the footprint than you'll see with other people's UV
But
flatbed.
It looks stunning still, right?
Exactly. But again, what we're trying to do is create a really high visual, high quality image ink set. And that's where we try and create a USP for our customers. Okay.
And if you look at a product like this, that is, from my perspective, also a very competitive area. So when you say this is relatively new product to you and the first time you launch is that because you have something that is very good entry point for a customer to invest in an Epson equipment?
Yeah. What we were trying to do with our R&D was just to try and find the sweet spot where we are focusing on what we're good at as a company, which is obviously that image, the image quality and the image reproduction, and apply it to a market which is traditionally somewhat different. And we did exactly the same, funnily enough, with our Eco Solvent roll-to-roll inkjet, 14 years ago. So it's not as if we haven't used the same trick in the past. But it's worked very well. It's proving very popular. Interestingly, very popular in Scandinavia.
Oh, really?
Actually,
okay. Fantastic.
Doing really well.
So I say to my countrymen, I'm here with Duncan from. Are you from the UK?
I am, yes.
Yeah, from the UK, and we just see a very popular piece of equipment for the Scandinavian market, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And for the rest of the world, right?
Yeah.
So we have a few minutes more. So what should we see?
Yeah, we're nearly done around here. So this is our roll-to-roll area. We have 2 different technologies.
This is where you have been very strong for a long time.
For 10, 15 years, yeah. And so if you, so this is a situation, actually the printer and cutter.
Yeah,
this is the cutter.
Yeah. And there you have the printer.
So here is our S series. This is market-leading eco-solvent signage printing, roll-to-roll. Again, very high quality image, but very affordable production. This now comes with bulk ink tank system.
It's also nice that you have easy access to
it.
Right?
Exactly.
And a lot of colors. So that is like, do you have your own rips, or what kind of software do you use for ripping?
Right, we have our own rip, but we also work with many of the major rip vendors.
Yeah. So basically, the customers can choose whatever rip they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll share SDKs with the major rip vendors, and because our rip is very good. It's good entry level rip. It means that anyone can get started with the product.
Yeah.
But if they want some additional functionality, or they want to integrate
whatever they want,
it's their choice. Yeah. That's the important thing.
Fantastic.
If I just come round the side here.
Yep.
Run through. So this is another product very recently launched. This is the R5000 or R5000L. Similar. It's got the Epson precision core print head. It has the bulking system.
Yeah. And even more here than on the other one, right? Yeah.
You know, very high quality imagery coming off.
Yeah.
This uses though an aqueous resin ink.
Okay.
Okay. So here you're creating outdoor signage using an aqueous ink. So
looks really cool. You're suffering today, right?
You should have come a couple of days ago. I was much better.
Yeah. Oh, and now you have I just saw this one. So basically you have video management. Is that just for like instruction or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
So easy access to
it.
Easy
access.
Yeah.
Okay. And one last thing I want to show you before we wrap up.
Yep.
Because what we've shown you is products that are, for proper production customers on the whole.
Of course, yeah.
But actually what has become very apparent during the COVID crisis is the sort of micro businesses.
Okay. Because now people can't go to the big offices, and that creates an environment for a lot of smaller things, right?
Yeah, well, people ended up being furloughed at home. They started businesses, and a lot of those are actually continuing. And people are finding that
they make money working from home, right?
And it means that the customization trend, the sort of hyper customization, as I call it, it enables people to do things. And what we have here is products to satisfy that market.
Okay, so this is like really like domestic kind of businesses, right?
Yeah. So this is the same sublimation technology that you see in the big textile printers.
So basically the same technology, but on a way smaller scale.
So really micro it down, even down to an A4. Yeah. It's an A4
so that basically
printer.
means that, okay, I'm at home, I want to make, let's say, a t-shirt or whatever, and then I print it, and then I have a heating system so I can apply it. That is the heating system we have here, or?
Exactly. Yeah. You can buy a printer, small heating system, and you can do your own micro production of whatever.
And I would say that, it must be a huge advantage for a company like Epson, because you also have let's say, the traditional channels for like mass-produced products, right? Because if you look at some of the competitors, they may not have that channels, right? Or is that wrong? Or
it isn't actually.
Okay.
What happens is that these do go through channels, but they are quite specialized channels.
Okay.
Who
specialized in this business, basically.
And the reason is that quite often when you're selling to this type of customer, they want to have the full package. So they want to know, I buy this printer with this rip, with this oven, with comes the full sort of business in a box concept.
Yeah.
So So you're right in one sense
Yeah.
that because Epson has the name and has the reach,
Yeah.
it makes it easier.
Yeah, yeah.
But actually, some of the resellers that do the best job here do the best job because they understand the full technology and what's needed to get a finished product.
And the limitations of what you do, of course.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, Duncan, I have to go to my next interview.
Myself
it was
too.
a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very
Lovely
much.
to meet you. Lovely to
I
meet
hope-
your viewers.
I hope your voice will get better.
Yeah.
Better. But I mean, that's the curse of being on a trade show, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I will come and say hi to you when we finish the live broadcast.
Okay.
Thank you.
Farewell.
Farewell.
Bye.
So, hang on a second, we need your microphone. Just hang on a second, just hang on a second, Duncan. We are just here. Duncan, he wants to leave, but his microphone is still on him. But I says goodbye for now. We're going now to have an interview with Stuart from Kongsberg.